short mantras. Only 3 verses. Ekadaji is 3 verses. Vishalaji has no verse. Seconds to live. Everyone be settled. You can adjust and shift your chairs if you want to see properly, not a problem. 10 seconds for live and 5. Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatye Namaha. Om Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. Hari Om. Kirtana.
Hari 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 Narayana Narayana Om Narayana.
Hari 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 Narayana Narayana Om Narayana Om
Narayana Narayana Om Narayana.
Hari 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 Narayana Narayana Om Narayana
Govinda Narayana Gopala Narayana.
Bolo Govinda Narayana Gopala Narayana
Govinda Narayana Gopala Narayana.
Hari 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 Narayana Narayana Om Narayana Om Narayana Hari 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 Narayana Narayana Om Narayana Om Narayana
Vitthala Narayana Panduranga Narayana.
Vitthala Narayana Panduranga Narayana
Vitthala Narayana Panduranga Narayana.
Hari 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 Narayana Narayana Om Narayana Om Narayana Hari 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 Narayana Narayana Om Narayana Om Narayana
Avadesha Narayana Gopulesha Narayana.
Avadesha Narayana Gopulesha Narayana
Avadesha Narayana Gopulesha Narayana.
Hari 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 Narayana Narayana Om Narayana Om Narayana Hari 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 Narayana Narayana Om Narayana Om Narayana Om Narayana Om Narayana Om Narayana. बोलिए गजानन स्वामी की जय, विष्णु भगवान की जय, जय श्री राम. Namaskar everyone and welcome to the Hindu Prachaar Kendra's Sunday morning Satsang. live as usual here at our Sri Ram Vijay Mandir, located at Jalibia Trace in Raghunadan Road, Enterprise Central, Trinidad. A special welcome to all of you joining us virtually, and those of you who are here in person. It's always a joy to be in your company every week for Satsang. Now we are looking forward to more and more of you joining us as we all start to get back to our routines before we had this pandemic prevailing across the world, and we'll try to do so as safely as possible. I know from the feedback that I get from many of you, you always talk about how happy and comfortable you are in your spaces at home to just be there and to enjoy satsang effortlessly. But if you ask all of those who come to the satsang, they will all tell you that the vibe here is way different, right, Nailaji? We always talk about this, the energy that you can absorb from here. People always say this, Gitaji, when we come, it really feels different. So as soon as you feel comfortable enough, we look forward to having more and more of you join us here in the Mandir. Now, if you are following our Hindu calendar, you would know that we have another very auspicious occasion this week. And it's like this occasion almost sneaked up on us. It came so quickly. What am I speaking about? What is coming up this week? I see some people don't know at all. Vishalaji, are you looking shocked that it's Phagwa Holi? Yes. So it has always been for us at the Kendra Holi, Phagwa, we say here. A very, very grand occasion for us with all our wonderful features, Holika Dahan, the open air theater, the big drama, with all the commentaries, pichakaris as well, our own musical genre here, Makancho, Ranga Barse, Bacho Ka Khel, so many different activities. We miss a lot. We have now crossed 3 decades of Kendra Phagwa Festival, and we haven't been able to celebrate for 3 years now. So I think we all anxiously look forward to next year with great anticipation to make up for these 3 years. So this morning, therefore, and next Sunday, it's all about Phagwa. It's all about Holi, and we'll focus on the Prahalaad Katha, as you would have seen on the e-flyer today. Actually, we'll only be able to get a start on this Katha. Yesterday, Raviji and I, we were look, even Raviji and our Guru Mata, they are also coming out now because they feel safer to come and join with us in the mandir, so you can be encouraged by their presence here. So yesterday, Raviji and I were talking about how the Prahalaad Katha, this Phagwa Katha, it is so pertinent to the prevailing world condition. It's almost unbelievable. So while I'm narrating the Katha this morning, you can observe for yourself. It's a powerful, multi-layered social commentary. We can't escape how obvious it is. So we will certainly not be able to deal with all of the levels of the Katha in 2 sessions. It needs a whole 7-9 nights of yagya to do this. Maybe we can have holy yagya sometime and culminate with the grand celebration. So we look at key points, and the next week we'll close off the Katha. This morning a little more serious. Next week a little lighter mood with the festive aspects. The Kalyaji will lead us in some chautal, some pichakaris, and maybe, if we're brave enough, a little gulal tiki for everyone. That will be nice. But before we get into our katha, all of that, we join in our bhajan session. And I suggested to the Mandali all our bhajans and chants this morning with the name Hari. So you see, we started Hari Hari Narayana. So the mood has already been set. So Hari, Narayana, Vasudeva. These are the names that empowered Prahalaad's faith and built a kind of bhakti force field around him that always protected him. Maybe we can say like a bhakti bubble. That's what they're using now. But this bubble, it was built on bhakti and it made our child hero of Phagwa invincible. So let's chant Bhagwan's praises. Hari Om, Hari Om. In this bhajan, you can all join. The Kaliyaji is leading us, where we are chanting and saying, "O Bhagwan, my only desire, mohi lagi lagana hari darshanaki." I want to have a glimpse of you. I want to see you. I want to know you. You are our creator. You are the caretaker of the entire world. Jagata Hitakadi. You are the Mangaladata, the giver of all auspiciousness, and you are savior of the fallen. We surrender. We come to your feet for you to bless and protect and save us. So you can join, sing along. Certainly we can all participate in the Hari Om, Hari Om. Boliye Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai.
Mohila dilagan, mohila dilagan, Hari darshan ki, Hari darshan ki, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Vishwavidata, Mangalanata, Mangalanata, Vinayasno Abhinanaki, Vinayasno Abhinanaki, Mohila Gilagana, Mohila Gilagana, Hari darshan ki, Hari darshan ki, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. हे सुखकारी, जगहितकारी, जगहितकारी, दो शक्ति भव तरनन की, दो शक्ति भव तरनन की, मोहिरा की लगन, मोहिरा की लगन, हरि दर्शन की, हरि दर्शन की, हरि ओम, हरि ओम, हरि ओम, हरि ओम, हरि ओम, हरि ओम। आया शरण में, आशाए मन में, आशाए मन में, चरण कमल सब परपन की, चरण कमल सब परपन की, मोहिला की लगन, मोहिला की लगन, हरि दर्शन की, हरि दर्शन की, हरि ओम, 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 हरि 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 ओम।
बोलिए विष्णु भगवान की Jai. Jai Shri Ram. Make sure you are chanting along with us at home. The next kirtan, a lot of people love this kirtan. And Vishalaji is leading us. Hari Sundara Nanda Mukunda. Very simple words. Again, praising all the different names and forms and energies through which we praise Bhagwan. And this one, of course, mainly as Bhagwan Krishna. And I was asked to do several birthday wishes and dedication. So I want to do it this morning with this particular kirtan to dedicate with the very best of wishes and birthday blessings to first our dear Dallas Singh, who had his birthday, always supporting us, and so wonderful to always have him and some family and friends in the mother this morning. And in the US, our dear Maggie Griffith Williams. Some of us here, Indra, you remember Maggie. She was is our first foreign student who joined the Hindu Trinidad program through the foreign students who come to the university, and it's over about 25 years, I think, we first met Maggie, and she follows our Satsang. She once shared a video with her son dancing there in the US while we were chanting. Very beautiful. So very best of wishes to you, Maggie. And to Ishan, who had his birthday yesterday, Ishan Ramsingh. Amaya, whose birthday is today, and Samantha, whose birthday is tomorrow. 3 birthdays, one after the next. We send the very best of wishes and birthday blessings to all of you and anyone who had a birthday last week, or if you have a birthday coming up, may Bhagwan Krishna bless you all. So we join with Vishalaji to praise Bhagwan Krishna.
Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
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 Hari Keshava Hari Govinda, 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 Hari Narayana Hari Om.
Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
Bolo Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
Vanmali Murali Dhari, Govardhan Girivardhari.
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 नित नित कर माखन चोरी गोपी मनहारी.
नित नित कर माखन चोरी गोपी मनहारी.
हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा, हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा, हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Hari Keshava Hari Govinda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा, हरि नारायण हरि ओम.
Bolo Hari Sundar Nanda Mukunda, Hari Narayana Hari Om.
आओ रे गोकुल के प्यारे.
आओ रे गोकुल के प्यारे.
आओ रे कान्हा रे गोकुल के प्यारे.
आओ रे कान्हा रे गोकुल के प्यारे.
आओ रे नाचो रे रास रचाओ रे.
Narayan, Hari Om.
Hari Narayan, Hari Om. Hari Narayan, Hari Om.
Hari Narayan, Hari Om. Hari Narayan, Hari Om.
Hari Narayan, Hari Om.
Hari Narayan, Hari Om.
Hari Narayan, Hari Om.
Hari Narayan, Hari Om. बोलिए विष्णु भगवान की जय. Jai Shri Ram. And Prahlada would have been chanting just like this, Narayana, Narayana, Hari Om. So we have time before Katha for one more bhajan, again praising Narayan. Very traditional, very beautiful bhajan. I said I was going to check to see what year and what movie this was from. Jai Jai Narayan, Narayan, Hari Hari, Swami Narayan, Narayan, Hari Hari. And in this we are saying, Jai means what? Victory. Jai Jai. Victory to Bhagwan. Victory to you, Narayan, whose Teri Leela sabse nyari nyari. You know, Leela is always going on. Cosmic Leela. So many different forms of Leela. So, Bhagwan, your divine play, it is magnificent. Beautiful. Prostrations to you who took a human form for the benefit of mankind, to show us the way, to teach us. Your name itself is so powerful, O Bhagwan. I chant it again and again to be empowered and to be protected by you. So we join in this. Krishna Ji is leading us.
Jai Narayan, Jai Narayan, Jai Narayan, Jai Jai Narayan, Narayan, Hari Hari.
Jai Jai Narayan, Narayan, Hari Hari.
Swami Narayan, Narayan, Hari Hari.
Swami Narayan, Narayan, Hari Hari.
तेरे लीला सबसे न्यारी न्यारी हरी हरी.
तेरी लीला सबसे न्यारी न्यारी हरी हरी.
तेरे महिमा तेरे महिमा तेरे महिमा प्रभु थे न्यारी प्यारी हरी हरी. तेरे महिमा प्रभु थे प्यारी प्यारी
हरी हरी.
जय जय नारायण
नारायण हरि हरि. जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि.
जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि.
जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि.
अलख निरंजन भव भय भंजन जनमन रंजन दाता.
जनमन रंजन दाता.
हमें शरण दे अपने चरण में कर निर्भय जगत्राता.
कर निर्भय जगदाता.
सुने लाखों की नैया तारी
तारी हरि हरि. जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि. स्वामी नारायण नारायण हरि हरि. जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि. स्वामी नारायण नारायण हरि हरि.
प्रभु के नाम का पारस छोले वो हो जाने सोना.
ओ हो जाए सोना.
दो अक्षर का शब्द हरि है लेकिन बड़ा सलोना.
लेकिन बड़ा सलोना.
उसे संकट ताली भारी
हरि हरि हरि. जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि. स्वामी नारायण नारायण हरि हरि. जय जय नारायण नारायण हरि हरि. स्वामी नारायण I'll ask the technicians to bring up the mantra on screen, because before we begin Phagwa Katha, Prahalaad Katha, we will offer invocation to Bhagwan Narsingh. Bhagwan is the half man, half lion, the avatar of Bhagwan Vishnu, who is at the center of this Katha also. And in the mantra we are saying, I bow to Bhagwan Narsingh, who gives great joy to Prahalaad. Prahalad's name itself means the one who is delightful, who brings joy. So I bow to that Bhagwan who gives great joy to Prahalad, whose nails are like chisels on this stone-like chest of Hiranyakashipu. Bhagwan Narsingh is here. Bhagwan Narsingh is there. Wherever I go, Bhagwan Narsingh is there. He is in the heart, he is within me, and outside as well. I surrender to you, Bhagwan Narsingh, the origin of all things and the supreme refuge. So I'll chant word by word for the benefit of those who are present with us here. Let us collect our thoughts. You can close your eyes, assume a position, a mental attitude of prayer as we surrender to Bhagwan Vishnu as Narsingh Avatar. Please repeat after me. Namaste.
Namaste.
Narsimhaya.
Narsimhaya.
Prahlad.
Prahlada.
Ahlad.
Ahlad.
Dayini.
Dayini.
Hiranyakashipur.
Hiranyakashipu.
Vakshaha.
Vakshaha.
Sila.
Sila.
Tanka.
Tanka.
Nakhalaye.
Nakhalaye.
Ito.
Ito.
Nrsimha.
Nrsimha.
Parato.
Parato.
Nrsimho.
Nrsimho.
Yato. Yato.
Yato. Yato.
Yami.
Yami.
Tato.
Tato.
Nrsimha.
Nrsimha.
Bahir.
Bahir.
Nrsimho.
Nrsimho.
Hridaye.
Hridaye.
Nrsimho.
Nrsimho.
Nrsimham.
Nrsimham.
Adim.
Adim.
Sharanam.
Sharanam.
Prapadye.
Prapadye.
Boliye Bhagwan Narsingh ki
Jai.
Jai. Jai Shri Ram.
Jai.
So very quickly before we get into the actual Katha, just to remind you of some things you probably already know, but just for you to be aware of. When is Phagwa, Holi? Yes, I'm getting some guesses on this side. Yes, okay. We said this weekend. For us at the Kendra, it would have been this whole weekend. So usually it's celebrated after the full moon in the month of Phalgun. So Phalgun is the last month. We are in the last month of our Hindu calendar. And we must, of course, pay close attention and follow our Hindu calendar. So our Hindu New Year, it's coming up in just about 2 weeks' time. And we will have special programs for that. I'll let you know about it. So Friday is the full moon. So Saturday, Holi or Phagwa. And you can make sure that you venture outside because the moon will be out beautifully this weekend, hopefully, if we have good weather and we'll have clear skies. So on Saturday morning also, or evening, whenever you are doing your worship, even on Friday evening in your devastan at home, you can make sure you TK the Devis and Devatas with a little gulal also, because Phagwa is so contact oriented, as I said. It's still not very safe to engage in the grand celebration. So it marks the end of the winter season and the onset, the coming of spring, where you have warmer, more colorful days, and the earth just seems to come alive, very rejuvenated after the dreariness and the cold of winter. And while we don't actually have these seasons here, I am sure for the last couple months, morning very cold, evening very cold, and we can also experience the transitions in how the weather is. And when we see all the bountiful blossoms in our flowering plants, the mango trees and other fruit trees, lots of pomerac and sapodilla and so on these days, and my zabuka tree is laden with flowers. So it's the most, yes, the Kalyaji, yours also, most exciting when we see these things. So the earth, there's bounty, there's blossoming, there's life, okay? So let's see a very quick question. I want you to tell me, you can guess out here, and those of you at home, you can also see if you can answer this, what you know. who are the main characters in the Phagwa Katha? Main characters. Who do you know of? Yes, Prahalaad, first answer. Prahalaad, Hiranyakashipu, Holika, Narsingh. Bhagwan Vishnu is Narsingh, avatar. Prahalaad who? Prahalaad mummy. That's what you said? Prahalaad mummy. What's Prahalaad mummy's name? Huh? No, not Holika. Not Holika. Prahalaad mummy's name. So you all learned this today. Because she was so critical and central to who Prahlada became. Her name was Kayadhu. Say that. Kayadhu. 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 Rani Kayadhu. Okay, so 6 characters. And of course, there's Narad Muni. In the Katha, when you read Narad Muni, all of you from Holika Dahan, Jai Bhagwan, Raviji, we have to get started very quickly. They are forgetting all these main characters. But actually our Narad Muni isn't here. Otherwise she would have said Narayan, Narayan. And we'll know Narad Muni. So all of these are the main characters in this Katha. So before we actually get to Prahlad, the Bhakta Prahlad, we have to see Raja Hiranyakashipu and his father. The verse selections today are from the Srimad Bhagavad Mahapurana. So lots of Sanskrit reading and chanting this morning. And these first verses on Hiranyakashipu and Maharaj Hiranyakashipu, they are very telling about our prevailing world condition. And I don't need to really interpret it for you because you can reference it for yourself and see how obvious and applicable it is to what's going on today. So you join with me in chanting the Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, just as Bhakta Prahlad would have been chanting, as we are going to chant the verses. The name Raja Hiranyakashipu is named first in this verse, Narada Uvacha. So Narad Muni is speaking to Maharaj Yudhishthira, the Pandava king Yudhishthira. So we join Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagwan ki Jai, Jai Shri Ram. So Narad Uvacha, Narad Muni is speaking to whom? Who is Narad Muni speaking to? Yudhishthir, Pandava king. And he says, O king, Hiranyakashipu wishes to be Ajayam, invincible, Ajar, free from old age and disease. I think we all wish this also. Amar, deathless, and Apratidvandvam, the unrivaled one and only ruler of all the worlds. So in the valleys of Mount Mandara, Tapaha Parama Darunam. Darunam, it's very difficult. He engaged and he did the most difficult tapas. And the tapas is described with his hands stretched towards the sky, with focused vision, with just his parangushta, just his big toes resting on the ground. The yogis, I think we can practice this type of tapas. So, this is the description. Now listen, yes, standing on tiptoes for a long time, I'd fall over after 10 seconds. So now listen to Raja Hiranyakashipu's intention, what he's thinking. You know, we have to pay close attention to our intention. We've spoken about this before. Anyathedam vidhasyeham Anyatha purvam ojasa kim anyaihi kala nirdhutaihi kalpante vaishnavadhi bhihi. Imagining himself in a position of supreme authority as a superpower, Raja Hiranyakashipu deliberates, I will change the world order. Anyatha, it will be opposite to how it was Purvam, before. This isn't a desire to change things for the better, as we are always reminding ourselves here in Satsang. And see Hiranyakashipu's very twisted logic to justify his actions. He is thinking and saying and declaring in the course of time, everything will be vanquished. Everything will be changed. There will always be torment and difficulty. Of what use will be my power, my accomplishments, if I don't expedite the process? You see that? And what process is he going to use? What his method? Very simply, I'll put it like this: destroying Dharma. Destroying all that is noble and good and safe and for the welfare of all, and exalting adharma. He continues, I will terrorize. This is the katha, you know. See this? I will terrorize and drive away the devas and the rishis and all the good people from their abodes. They will have to leave their homes and run away. Do you know of any modern day Hiranyakashipus? Plenty. Okay, yes. There are many. Okay? So naturally, this news terrified the devas and the rishis and everyone. And they approached Brahmaji for help. They went to him with their concern. Deva Deva Jagatpate Daityendra Tapasa Tapta Divi Sthatum Nashak Numaha. O Jagatpate. Who is Jagatpate? Jagat is the world. Pate, Patihi, Lord of the world, Master of the universe. We are Taptaha. Taptaha. The only word, we are being roasted. See the description and the power in the words. Taptaha. You know, you think how you have to roast something. You have to put it in the fire. There has to be heat, burning, okay? So we are being roasted by the fierce austerity, the tapas of Hiranyakashipu, the king of the Daityas. Statum na shaknumaha. We are not able to even stay safely in our homes. And Narad Muni continues to narrate to Maharaj Yudhishthira, Iti Dignapito Devair Bhagwan Atma Bhur Nripa Parito Bhrigu Dakshadhyair Yayau Daityeshwar Ashramam. O king, after being informed of their plight, Brahmaji Parito Bhrigu Dakshadhyair, accompanied by Bhrigu, by Daksha Muni, all these sages, that are great sage, they went towards where Hiranyakashipu was doing this great tapas. And let us see what happens next. We chant again just as Bhakta Prahalaad did, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Yadidasyasya bhimatan varane vararotama bhutevyasvarvishveshvebhyo bhutevyasvarvishveshvebhyo mrityurmabhun mama prabho mrityurmabhun mama prabho. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Natar bahir divanahtam anyasmanapi chayudhaihi na bhumau nambare mrityur na bhumau nambare mrityur na naraina mrigairapi na naraina mrigairapi. Bolo Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Boliye Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai. Jai Shri Ram. So it is narrated, I haven't extracted all those verses, very beautiful. But it's narrated how Brahma awakened Hiranyakashipu by chirkain, sprinkling water from his kamandalu. All of that is described. So when Hiranyakashipu saw Brahmaji before him, he rejoiced in several verses of praise. Hiranyakashipu's language is immaculate. It's very poetic and very insightful. As a matter of fact, in the very first book, in this first adhyay, very earlier on, before he went into this deep tapas, he was counseling his relatives, his nephews, his mother after the death of his brother Hiranyaksha when he was slain by Bhagwan. And if you did not know that Hiranyakashipu was speaking, when you read those verses, you will think you are reading the teachings of a most accomplished guru. The way he was talking and interpreting samsara, human nature, life and death and all that we have to encounter in this world. And it's a classic case of he knew it, but he couldn't do it. Just like Duryodhana. You know, all the information is there, but the information was not put into practice and into experience. experience. So he spoke so well. He's explaining everything beautifully, and he's thrilled to see now before him Brahmaji. So he says, Mama Prabhu, you are Varada Uttama. You are best in giving blessings. Kindly grant me the boons I desire. And what are the boons? We know some of them very well. One, let me not die at the hands of Bhutebhyaha, any living beings created by you. Then, na antaha bahihi, neither inside nor outside. Divanaktam, neither during the day or in the night. Cha, and he's continuing also. Ayudhaihi, not by any weapons used within this material world. And he continues, na bhumau, not on the ground, nambare, not in the sky, na naraihi, not by any man, sham, namrigaihi, nor by any animal. Okay, and we are familiar because these are parts of the katha that we know well. And it was so granted by Brahmaji, who at this point is compelled to reward the Maharaj, the tapas of Hiranyakashipu, and to also take some action to ease the agitation of the devas and the rishis in the world at this time. Whatever problems coming up later on, well, Brahmaji is probably thinking, I'll see how I can deal with that. But right now, to pacify this situation. So with Hiranyakashipu's newfound power came a reign of terror, and he engaged those who were like-minded and equally rakshasic to support him. And see this, Pura Grama Vrajodhyana Chetraram Ashramakaram Kheta Karvata Ghosamscha Darahu Patananicha. His army and followers set fire to cities, to villages. It described all the places, the gardens, the agricultural fields and forests. They burnt and plundered villages and places of shelter. Ashramam, that word is there. See how it described. They also burned the Datu Patani, the government capitals and the state offices, Setu, the bridges, Prachaar, all the protective walls, Gopuran, the city gates, the big temple towers, Mandir towers, they are called the Gopura also. Ajivyan, sources of livelihood. Parashu, Panayaha. You all know this word Parashu from anywhere? Let's see. Oh, yes, I feel Parashuram. Why Parashuram? What was he carrying in his hand? The axe. So Parashu. So the weapon being described. Parashu Panayaha, taking mighty axes in their hand. Chichiduhu Vrikshan, they cut down all the trees. And this is not just about the cutting of trees, huh? You have to see the world, the cosmic tree also. They're cutting the very source of life. So cutting the trees. Chichiduhu. It's almost like a tongue twister, Vrikshan. Then, Jwalita Ulmukaihi, with blazing torches. Pradahan Sharanani, they burnt down the dwellings and the homes of the people. Do you know of any current modern day Hiranyakashipu? It's like this katha was written for our time, and this is the beauty of our shastras or katha. So today, only the type of weaponry has changed. Only a different weapon is being carried in the hand. So sarva sattva patin jitva vasam aniya visvajit jahada loka palanam sthanani sahatejasa. He defeated the rulers of all the realms and brought all living beings under his control. In a power-hungry lunge, he conquered and seized everything. So let's pin up Hiranyakashipu's life here, okay? Because I think we understand his nature. We understand what was his intention and what his course of actions were and what it will also be. So let us look at Prahalaad's birth. Prahlada himself in these verses is narrating all the circumstances of how Indradev was going to imprison the pregnant queen. What's her name? Prahalaad's mother's name? Kayadhu. You all learned this. If you forget everything I said for the morning, don't forget the name of his mother. She is worthy, most worthy. And at a time when we are especially so focused on, just came out of International Women's Day, Kayadhu, Queen Kayadhu. Okay, so like I said, within the main Leela, we have all these other Leelas going on, and it's what makes our Shastras or Kathas so versatile and always pertinent. It's not aloof, and it doesn't ignore our most human conditions and experiences and frailties. You know, it's very conscious of all of it. So we must receive our kathas. I was thinking, you know, when you get a piece of equipment or you purchase a piece of equipment, it comes with a user manual. Correct, right, Sham? Everything. How many of you don't read the manual and you go and you just start to look, everybody putting up their hand. Yes, Meena, G and Angie and all of you. Most of us, what? We don't. I know how to work this equipment, and then when you realize, if you're like me, something not fitting or it's not connecting, you go and you pick up the book. This is what we do in life. So the kathas are like our user manual, that point of reference, showing, teaching us. They'll have a list in those books, what to do, what not to do, Shami. If there's a problem, what to do to try to fix it, how to avoid the problem, what are the dangers, don't plug it in this way, connect it like this, etc., etc. So we must receive our kathas as the user manual. The connection is the key. Yes, Krishna, we have to have the right connection, and this is what the katha is teaching us. Sri Prahalaad Uvacha, the child hero of Phagwa, is now speaking, and he is saying, when my father Hiranyakashipu went to Mount Mandara for his severe austerities, in his absence, the Devas, led by Indradev, they saw this as an opportune time to subdue the Rakshasas, the Danavas, because they were already wreaking havoc. And they were victorious. And having plundered the palace, they captured my mother, the queen. What's her name? Kayadhu. Right? Mataram mama cha agrahit. They captured her. And he's describing, Prahlada is describing his mother's, that situation, her condition. Niyamanam bhaya udvignam. She was scared that she was being taken away, and I thought of Sita Mata being kidnapped by Ravana also and being taken away. Ruratim. She's crying. She's weeping. Tatra agataha. On that spot, at that time, by chance, Devarishi Narad, the great Narad, he happened to come by that way, Dadrishi, and he saw what was happening. Narad Uvacha, Narad starts to speak. Praha, we'll just read. With chanting is so beautiful, but I want to move the katha along, right? I wish you could chant Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudevaya and continue, but let's just move it along. Praha Nainam Surapate Netum Arhasya Nagasam Muncha Mahabhaga Satim Para Parigraham. Narad Muni said, O Indradev, this woman is certainly anagasam. She's faultless. What wrong has she done? You should not drag her off this way. Oh, and see how he speaks to Indradev, reminding Indradev, you know, it's a psychological thing of who he is. Oh, Mahabhaga, oh, great fortunate one. You are what? The giver of fortune, to bring blessings, to protect. This woman is the wife of another. Muncha. You can say when it's speaking to the children, immediately what he's saying, release her or stop. Like this, release her. Indradev continues in her womb. And this wife of Hiranyakashipu is the seed of that terrible Rakshas. So Indradev is justifying his action also and telling Nara, therefore, let her remain with us in our custody. And until this baby is born, then we will free her. Now we are left to speculate that either the child will become a hostage, or the devas may grow the child and try to influence the child, or at worst, slay the child to get rid of anything connected to the Rakshas, to that Rakshas potential that they were seeing in that child. Who knows what is potential in a child? Who knows? So Narad Muni replied, this child in the queen's womb, what's the name of the queen? Kayadhu, is Nishkilbishaha. Nishkilbishaha, faultless. Hasn't done anything. You cannot slay this child. And when Narad Muni starts speaking like this, Indradev was very respectful of his counsel. And it's written here, Vihaya. He released my mother. Prahlada is speaking, he released my mother, Kayadhu. And sometimes, like Indradev, we can also be so focused on our goal, so focused on what we want to do, and we might be so consumed by an idea that we lose reason and we lose the capacity to be humane. And this was Indradev's condition. So the great Narad Muni, Prahlad continues, brought my mother to his ashram and Ashvasya assured her of every protection, that she'll be safe. Swagarbhasya kshemaya, for the welfare of her unborn child. Bhaktya, Queen Kayadhu, Bhaktya, with great devotion, she also served Narad Muni and the other rishis and the ashram, and she stayed there without any fear. So while there, Narad Muni, see this fascinating thing, it's where I'm stopping today. Narad Muni gave guidance to both of us. Right? Now Prahlad, don't forget, Bhakta Prahlad is talking about a time before he was born, when he was still in the womb. See the words, Tasyaha, to her and to me, Ubhayam, to both of us. He was still where? In the womb. But he was what? Learning, absorbing. Dharmasya, of Dharma. Nirmalam, of the spotless, pure teachings of Dharma. Tattvam, the truth. Jnanam, mam, api. Api means also. While teaching it to my pregnant mother, I also learned. And he says, na adhuna, not even, api, up till today, ajahat smritihi, has any of this left my memory. I remember all of it. I know here at the Hindu Prachaar Kendra, we have always been involved. You all know this. Those of you who are not familiar with our work probably will not know, but sanskar-oriented projects, sanskar-oriented activities and work, our dialogues, our deliberation. I'll say it like this, Raviji is always burning off my air in a very good way about HVC planning, heritage vacation course, where we take the children for this, our flagship project. I have a whole file and folder with videos and information and clips for when we can get started. We must do this with the children. We have to organize this. Planning, the dialogue is always going on, because we have to focus on the future. And to focus on the future, we must focus where? And he used to always say, look, all these children here, well, not children, they are adults. You know, we'll be working with you all, but our target is really all your children, you know, so that you have the sanskar and you also pass it on. It's a whole cycle. And this is important because, as he explained very simply, for all of us, I would say, who are probably, Vishala, what you think, over 30 or over 40 or over 50, you decide, I don't know. What was caught, it now has to be taught. The way we grew up, I don't know which age, if it's, sometimes you see these things, if you're 50 and over, well, you would know this. Or if you're 40 and over, you'll remember this. The other day, somebody said, Gita, who is Louis from Sesame Street? I never heard of him. That we passed on. We grew up on things like this. So the way life was long ago, it's changed. And change is what will happen. But there must be some things that must be unchanging. Okay? And this is what the process of sanskar is about, where teaching starts from even before birth. So when we look at this katha, and some of this we'll address next week, because we have to, this is the serious stuff. We have to leave some time for the celebrations and so on. You'll see this katha. It's a commentary on politics, on leadership, on children's issues, on parenting, on the home, on social responsibility, on gender issues, on our own prejudice, a whole range of things, so multi-layered, as I said. We'll continue to just, from here, where we are seeing Bhakta Prahlad, now he's going next week to have the encounter with his father, Maharaj Hiranyakashipu, and it's the part of the katha that we know well, so we'll move along a little quicker. Boliye Vishnu Bhagwan ki Jai, Bhakta Prahlad ki Jai, Jai Shri Ram. Let's stand for the Arty. I think for the Arty this morning, let's sing the Jai Jagadish Hare as we praise Bhagwan, Vishnu, Narayana. So we all join. Jai Jagadish Hare, Swami Jai Jagadish Hare, Bhakta Jano ke Sankat, Das Jano ke Sankat, Kshan mein dur kare, Om Jai Jagadish Hare. दास जनों के संकट क्षण में दूर करे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओम जय जगदीश हरे. Closing mantras, we chant together. We pray for everyone and everything. Om Durjano Sajano Bhuyat Sajana Shanti Mapnuyat Shanto Mucheta Bandhebhyo Muktas Shanyan Vimochayet Swasya Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmanebhya Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Tvameva Mata Cha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Dyav Shantir Antarikshagum Shanti Prithvi Shantir Apaha Shantir Aushadhaya Shantir Vanaspataya Shantir Vishve Deva Shantir Brahma Shanti Sarvagum Shanti Shantireva Shanti Sama Shantiredhi Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Jag Pranam. सिया राम मैं सब जग जानी करऊ प्रणाम जोरी जुग पानी सिया राम मैं सब जग जानी करऊ प्रणाम जोरी जुग पानी. Jai Shri Ram. We chant Jaikar with all our energy, love and reverence for all things divine and noble. बोलिए गजानन स्वामी की जय, श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय, मापति महादेव की जय, जगदम्बे माता की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सियापति रामचंद्र की जय, स्वामी तुलसीदास की जय, बेगो देश की जय, विष्णु भगवान की जय, भक्त प्रहलाद की जय, बोलिए श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की Jai, Jai Jai, Sitaram. Please take your seats, everyone. Just a couple very quick announcements. So we will continue, of course, from where we left off, a little lighter and more festive next week. And I just want to let you know towards the end, which is end of the month, 1st of April, it's when our Hindu New Year, Navratri, will begin. And on the 10th, I'm just letting you know from now, on the 10th, Sunday the 10th, it is the actual day of Sri Ram Navami. So on that day, our Satsang will not be at 9 in the morning, but will begin at 11 o'clock, because it's a midday observance. Bhagwan Sri Ram born and took avatar in the middle of the day, so we'll make a time adjustment for that day. We'll continue to remind you so that you'll be aware of that. So just for that morning, we will begin at 11 o'clock instead of 9 o'clock, and we will share information by next week. Now there is a request for us to have our Vasant Navratri Utsav, our Devi Yagya, Usually, again, it would be a grand special time for us, this Chaitra Navaratri, the first Navaratri that comes up, that ends with Sri Ram Navami, would be when we would have our Yagya, Kanyakumari Puja, all the traditional offerings. Raviji, you know, we were making some special plans, but I realized in this fancy space we've created here now, we can't have too much smoke. So we'll have to rethink some of the special Arty, very big, magnificent Arty, wonderful things we are planning. So we will keep you informed of all of that and let you know of the dates during the Navarat. And the Hanuman Jayanti is also coming up on the Saturday 16th. And our special this year feature will be the Sundarkand Parayan. And I know many persons are already reading and practicing their Sundarkand. So these are the wonderful activities coming up to keep us all busy and focused so that we will all be engaged in change for the better. Not like Maharaj Hiranyakashipu, who changed things for the worst, and other Maharaja Hiranyakashipus who still exist in our world today. We wish you all a very productive, safe, and blessed week, and we look forward to you all joining us again next Sunday morning. Namaskar.